Today I'm going to be revealing my net worth as of January 2025. If you don't already know me, my name is Ruth and I am running this channel to help you all get the best value out of your hard-earned money. Everybody deserves financial freedom and yet many don't, unfortunately, ever get there. Part of why I am doing this is essentially to try and remove some of the taboo around money. 30 minutes ago, before I calculated this number, I myself didn't know my net worth. I think it's super important to let people know my feelings on this. Now, net worth does not define us. It does not determine who we are, the kind of person that we are, or anything like that. But it can be a very useful metric. And I actually think that we should encourage more people to know this number. You don't have to post it on the internet like I am, but I'm here for the people who are nosy and want to know what's going on. I just think that actually I kind of wish I'd done this number last year, and I know I could retrospectively go back and kind of find out how it changed, but I have a very strong feeling that this has started to snowball and the number was probably very different last year. So I think if everyone, maybe as a bit of a resolution, if you don't already know, try and figure that out. And also coming up on this channel, I've got tons of ideas to incorporate budgeting and help when it comes to planning out your spending. So also comment down below if you're excited or interested in my budget and what helped me get to where I am today. I need to provide some context. It's only right. Everybody starts off in a different position. Some of us have to start from zero. Others might end up even below zero, and then we have to build ourselves back up. Our position, and I have to mention my boyfriend Nick in this because we have been together for a long time, since being at university, and when we graduated we made the call that we wanted to split our finances 50-50. And so the numbers that you hear me talk through as the different categories today in this video is our combined assets. At the very end I will divide that by 2 and that will be my personal net worth. But generally speaking, everything we do is done as a household. And I've got his permission to share this information, and he is fully on board with the channel and supports the whole dream and the ambition and the vision for the business. Really, he's the sole investor because I've given up my job to spread the word on these topics. So essentially, we have, since graduating, benefited from being a double income household. We don't have any children yet. We are pretty able to be quite frugal. We've always been able to split the costs of living and the burdens of those bills. So we're in a very fortunate position to have done this and to be in this opportunity. So I just wanted to caveat all of this with that because it's going to be different for different people and we're all starting in different places. What I'm really interested in really is just to see how the number changes and hopefully get you all thinking about where you want it to be and not necessarily getting fixated on where you are today. So I think maybe this will be the start of a series, hopefully it will, where I can kind of share at various points in time how this number is developing and changing. So I'm mindful that was a longer intro. So let's now talk about the different pots which makes up the total net worth. So first of all, I'm going to mention our stocks and shares ISA, of which we both have one, and in total we actually have invested £75,000. I could talk in a lot more detail about why we chose to invest and the great returns that have come of it, but to keep this video short and sweet and to the point, I'm going to move on to equity next. So I also have a very good video breaking down how we built up over 50% equity in our home in just 4 years, but to cut a long story short for this video, we currently hold £122,000 worth of equity in our flat. Woohoo! That feels absolutely great because less interest going to the bank every single month when we make those repayments. The third category that I have to mention is my lifetime ISA. I opened one of these a while back. This is £8,000 that I have in my lifetime ISA, which I am actually not actively contributing to, but I still wanted to include it in this breakdown. Of course, I will not be able to access that money for some time, but it is invested. So I'm pretty comfortable with where that money is and that it will be generating me some good passive returns over the long run until I can get access to that money. The next category is actually some savings, but it's a subset. So it's our emergency fund. And between us, we have £15,000 in emergency funds to cover unforeseen expenses. Something crops up and happens, then we've got the money there to cover that expense. And by the way, this money is also invested, albeit in a very low risk fund on Trading 212. But yeah, £15,000 as our emergency fund. The next thing I'm going to cover, which I was a little bit unsure whether I wanted to count this because technically it's going to depreciate, but it is our car. So we have a Polo, a 2017 plate, and I guesstimate that it is worth about 10 grand. We do, by the way, anticipate that we'll be running this car into the ground. So probably eventually it's going to be worth nothing. But I think if we sold it today, we could probably get about 10 grand. And so I've just added that onto the total number. Next up, we have pensions. You know, we've both been working pretty much for 7.5 years. My first ever job, I actually didn't opt into the pension scheme. So I've had 2 jobs since that I have been contributing in. My whole working life, I have averaged below the median income here in the UK. So I don't have a huge pension. My boyfriend is doing a little bit better, having got onto a very competitive graduate scheme shortly after graduating. But again, combined, we're doing all these numbers consolidated. So we have a grand total of £50,000 in our pension pots. And again, we've dug into those and we've made sure that those are invested in places that we are really happy with and we're comfortable, and they are globally diversified. And we feel like that is going to be maximizing our returns over the long run. Next up, this is the final category that I'm going to be including today. It is our fixed rate savings. So I mentioned this in my other video, which is all about very low risk strategies for building wealth, which is very useful for some of us who do not like to risk our money. Or maybe we can't afford to lose this money because it's earmarked for something important, such as a deposit on a house. And therefore, it's always nice to sometimes hedge your bets and have some things which you know are going to bring in that dough. So that felt really weird to say that, sorry. But yeah, we have £44,000 coming out of our fixed rate savings in April of this year. I'm really pleased about that. And I'm also not really sure where we're going to put that. So it's kind of exciting to think, do we put it towards mortgage? Do we invest? If you have an opinion, put it down below. But yeah, essentially another 44,000 in fixed rate savings. And so if you are good at maths, you may already know the number. But essentially it equates to £324,000, which I'm pretty proud of. You know, I'm really pleased with that, and it has taken some planning. But the great thing about it is that we have not earned that much. And I know that it sounds strange, but a lot of this money has been made by itself passively by putting our money in the right place. So without even digging into the calculations, I can tell you that it's in the 5 figures. It's at least 10 grand or more that has been made through passive returns on our money, through unrealized returns in our investment pots, through realized returns through interest on our savings accounts. So it just feels really good to know that we don't always have to work for money. It can work for us. If I take that big number, which is our household net worth, and I divide that by 2 because that's how we have decided to split our finances. then my current net worth is £162,000. Now, some of you might be impressed, some of you might be underwhelmed. I'm not really sure how anyone else feels, but as I say, I'm really pleased with that. I'm proud of it. At my highest point, I was making just over £40,000. So I feel like I've put my salary to good use. I feel like both me and my boyfriend have really worked at scrimping and spending. We really just want to kind of share our strategies with you. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye.